My name is Dylan. I'm 30 now, but what I'm about to tell you happened when I was 16. And trust me, you might want to grab some popcorn for this one because things got dark fast. Back then I was in grade 10, my final year of high school. 4 years wasted in a building I honestly hated, filled with around 700 students crammed into 5 classrooms and a circular foyer that looked like a giant waiting room for chaos. My high school was split from grade 7 to grade 10, and every year felt like a slow descent into madness. Grade 7? 13-year-olds who barely cared about anything unless it involved their friends or older siblings. Grade 8? People started finding their cliques. That was also the year I was diagnosed with epilepsy and, later, autism. Not that anyone cared to understand what that meant. Grade 9 was tolerable, better teachers, better classes. I could breathe for once. But grade 10, that's when everything shifted. Like something in the air turned rotten. People became vicious. The guys turned into angry little wannabe tough guys, running their mouths every chance they got. The girls? Honestly, half of them acted like they were possessed. Constant drama, constant insults. It felt like the entire grade was losing its mind. And I wasn't the type to take crap from anyone anymore. I've been bullied in primary school, never again. So yeah, I fought back. Hard. We had one teacher, Mr. Stevenson, Stavo, the kind of man you did not cross. One day, during a grade assembly in the foyer, even he snapped. He basically told the guys to stop acting like idiots and yelled at the girls to drop the bitchiness. His voice echoed around that giant circular room so loud that I had to swallow my laughter before he heard me. Out of the entire grade, maybe 10 or 20% of us weren't causing trouble. I stuck close to my only real mates, Zach and Chris. Dalton too, even though he hung out with people I avoided like the plague. Anyway, this brings me to the day everything went sideways. It was second period, a boring day like any other. I was zoning out, sitting alone on one of the bench seats against the wall. I always kept to myself because of my disabilities. The class was scattered into little friend groups. 7 guys at the back, constantly whispering. 4 girls I actually liked, Nicole, Liz, and the twins, Carly and Laura. A few other small groups. 2 boys who spoke another language. And then me in my corner. Mr. Ennis, my teacher, had taught me for years. Good guy, but he annoyed me sometimes. I was staring at the clock, begging for lunch to come quicker, when the PA system suddenly crackled to life. The principal's voice came through, and right away, something fell off. He wasn't making his usual pointless morning announcements. His tone was flat, almost rehearsed. Then I heard the phrase, "Code Black, lock all doors." I froze. I glanced at the emergency sheet taped beside the whiteboard. Code Black equals lockdown. My first thought was, what the hell are you talking about? But when I looked up, my teacher was already moving. He locked the door, covered the small window with paper, shut every curtain. Darkness swallowed the room. And outside in the foyer, I heard other teachers doing the same. Doors locking, curtains snapping shut, then absolute silence. Not the normal classroom silence. This was thick, suffocating, like the air itself was holding its breath. I'm not the type to get scared easily, but the longer that silence stretched, the more my mind started racing. Is something inside the school? Is it outside? Are we about to be attacked? Is someone armed? We'd never had a lockdown before. Ever. Our state was peaceful. Nothing like this had happened anywhere. My eyes adjusted to the dark. I scanned the room every few minutes. Most students looked bored or confused. But the 4 girls up the front, the ones who always laughed and giggled at everything, were dead silent. I had never seen them that quiet. Not a whisper, not a giggle, just 4 frozen silhouettes. It honestly unsettled me more than the lockdown itself. In the darkness, even the smallest sound would have made all of us jump. I sat with my back to the wall, pretending to relax, but inside, my adrenaline was creeping higher and higher. If something came through that door, I was ready to fight. Simple as that. Minutes dragged on. The silence grew heavier. And then, finally, after what felt like hours, the PA crackled on again. All clear. The classroom exhaled all at once. When lunch came, the school erupted with rumors like wildfire. Apparently a student, someone well known for causing trouble, had held the principal at knife point. No injuries, thank God, but he was expelled on the spot. And just like that, everyone laughed it off like it was some wild story from a movie. But for me, sitting in that pitch-black classroom, feeling the air change, wondering if someone was about to burst through the door, that moment stuck with me. Even now, 14 years later, I still remember the silence. The kind of silence that feels like it's watching you. By the time this next incident happened, the school year was almost over, just a month left until I could finally say goodbye to high school forever. And believe me, I wasn't going to miss it. But one day near the end of that year, something happened that honestly turned the whole day from boring to unforgettable. It was the usual routine. Stuck in class, clock watching every second, begging for lunch like my life depended on it. The classroom dynamic hadn't changed. I was still dealing with mouthy fights from Elliot every other day, and the girls up front, Nicole, Liz, and the twins, were still the laughing hyenas. I swear, their giggling was so constant I was sure they were going to lose their voices eventually. Then the PA system chimed. The principal again. His tone sounded weirdly casual, too casual, especially after the Code Black lockdown we'd gone through earlier that year. That's when he said it. Code Gray. We all froze. He instructed teachers to lock the foyer doors and continue working like normal. No panic, no urgency, just lock up and keep going. But none of us knew what Code Gray meant. Mr. Innes finally filled us in. There's someone untrustworthy around the school. My heart didn't drop. It jumped. Straight into excitement. This wasn't fear. This was adrenaline. Someone shady, roaming around the school? Breaking in? Good. Let them try. I was ready. This felt even more thrilling than the lockdown. I tried to work, but my mind wouldn't let me. My heart was racing like crazy, not from fear, but pure excitement. The whole class was buzzing. Mr. Innes kept telling us to stay focused, but he wasn't fooling anyone. We were all watching the windows. By lunchtime, we still weren't allowed outside. Students were gathering in the foyer, faces pressed against the windows, whispering and pointing. I ran over and squeezed into a spot with a perfect view. 2 security guards were talking to someone outside. Whoever had their back to us, too far away to identify. But the guard's body language told us everything. Things were getting heated. Inside my head, I was screaming, "Come on, fight them, run. Do something." Everyone beside me had the same expression. That mix of curiosity and thrill you only feel when something dangerous is happening just far enough away to be exciting. After a tense minute, the person turned and walked away, security trailing behind them. Later, Mr. Innes claimed it was just someone having a bad day. Yeah, right? I muttered to myself, bullshit. But here's where things get interesting, because the story didn't end that day. A year later, when I was 17 and in my first year of college, I found out the real truth. I was the only one from my old high school who went to that college. I was nervous at first, but I quickly fell in love with the place. I got placed in a special needs classroom, room 42, with other students who had disabilities like me. And honestly, those 2 years were some of the best of my life. I made new friends, lots of them. Some of the girls even liked me. Dalton, a friend from high school, ended up there too, and we grew even closer. The teachers were incredible. Mike and Rachel ran the room, though Mike was clearly the real boss. And then there was Annie, my favorite aide of them all. Soft voice, sweet smile, gentle energy, at least that's what I thought. Year 11 was great. Good classes, fun projects, even a school camp at one of the best places I'd ever been. I felt like life was finally going right. Year 12 was different. A mess, honestly. My personal life was falling apart, and I turned into a total problem student. Stronger, angrier, more reactive. I got into scuffles with a year 11 kid I'd known since high school, someone I had history with. In class, Rachel kept us separated. I always respected her, so I never pushed back too far. But in the foyer, different story. Whenever we scuffled, students would stare in shock while Annie and her friend Lerna rushed to break us up. Usually I didn't take Lerna seriously, but Annie? I underestimated her. Big time. One morning, I started another fight, and before I could even swing properly, Annie grabbed me and yanked me back so fast I nearly choked on my own breath. And the look she gave me, I swear I flinched like a terrified kid. Underneath that sweet, innocent exterior was someone who absolutely did not tolerate bullshit. She kept me in line every day, no matter how much I argued or talked back. Eventually, I stopped. I grew up. She helped me become a real young man, and I owe her more than she'll ever know. But here's the twist. One afternoon, I was riding the bus home when a girl from my grade 7 class got on. We recognized each other immediately and caught up on old memories. When I mentioned the lockdowns from high school, joking around, expecting her to laugh with me, she turned to me and said, "You know that Code Gray? That was me." Suddenly everything clicked. All the rumors, the confusion, the secrecy. She was the reason for the entire thing. I couldn't help but laugh. Not because it was funny, but because high school was such a messed up place that the two best memories I had were two lockdowns. Two chaotic, ridiculous moments I'll never forget.